Sheila, that's the wrong one.
Grand Rising, Elizabeth. Thank you for joining us this morning. At 9 o'clock a.m., we will close our social media and continue on Zoom only. Join us by getting your Zoom link at elizabethvisionaryconference.org. We'll be there until 10 a.m. You can join us now, and we'll see you in the Elizabeth Zoom room. Today, your hosts are Razia Curtis and Andrea Hetherow. Enjoy.
Grand Rising, Elizabeth. This is Razia Curtis from Healing Support Network. And we are very, very pleased to have some guests, our go-to healers and herbalists from Arizona. We know that our bodies have a wonderful self-healing property, for we are so wonderfully and fearfully made. And when we embrace that, we know that all is well. We are so pleased to have these two extraordinary healers, very caring, very ready for what we're facing today. So I present to you Allison and Rob, and they will take it from here. Thank you so much, guys, for coming. I know you had to get up at 4 a.m., 5 a.m. in order to be with us. And we're concerned about 8 a.m. And so I love you. I love you. Thank you so much for being with us today.
Good morning, Mama Razia and sisters. How are you today?
Grand Rising.
So I'm Allison. This is Rob.
Good morning.
Grand Rising. Welcome to you both.
Oh, look at
Thank
that.
you.
I love
What are we going to talk about today?
So today we're going to talk about EMS. EMS, or electromagnetic sensitivity, and some of the effects that it has and some of the ways it affects us every day and how we're exposed to it. So whenever you're ready, we'll be ready to share our presentation.
You have the power. We would have come dressed had we known. Above the hat.
Okay, can everyone see the screen?
Yes.
All right, good. So this is the effects on EMFs. We're going to do this into a two-part series because I'm going to talk about the sustainable building at another time with how the earth affects everything. I mean, our Heavenly Father is amazing.
Yeah.
How he constructed the earth so that we have everything that we need, but man thinks that he can do better than God. And we know that that's not true. So without further ado.
Okay, the effects on health, on EMF on health. My name is Rob Lytle. I'm a licensed master electrician in multiple states, and I'm also an RF field engineer. And one of the things I work with is in RF is in building wireless specifically, and my company does a lot of RF across, towers, in buildings, Wi-Fi. We cover a lot of that stuff. So I see it, and I see new technologies as they come. And so I consider myself somewhat of a authorized person to speak on this. Allison.
Is that all you want to say about that?
RF is radio frequency.
Okay, thank you. So I am a master herbalist, or just an herbalist, and also a holistic nutritional counselor. And I work for the president of the Navajo Nation for some years back. And I went to the inaugural ball. I actually got to meet Oprah Winfrey, which was the highlight of my day. And I was a consultant for the Diabetes Project, where we actually went back to eating the old way and growing the old food so that it nourished the body, not the sweet hybrid corn that they see today, but the corn that you used for everything back then. They used it for cleaning, they used it for eating, and it wasn't sweet. So a lot of the foods that they grew 100 years ago, they still have seed for, and that's what I did as a consultant for diabetes for the Navajo Nation. How did we get started, Rob?
We were overexposed to smart meters. And now before I move into the next screen, I want to ask that we save all questions for the end or put them into the chat so that we can get through this and address these all at once. Okay.
Okay.
Smart meters we were exposed to.
So this is the apartment complex where we used to live. This is up in the corner, I don't know how to point to it. Is there a little thing? Okay, do you guys
Okay.
see the little arrow that he has? So up in the corner over here, that's where the back bedroom was. It was a 2-bedroom. And this is commonplace. There used to be analog meters where there were dumb meters, right? They were just there to read. A person would walk up, read the meter. Some people still have them, but the meters, you would walk up and then you would read it and then you would write it down and then they would know how much electricity that you're using. Is everyone familiar with that? Well, they changed the dumb meters to smart meters, and the smart meters put out electricity, and Rob will explain that part.
So the reasoning behind the smart meters, it's a way for them to automate their process, the power company. That way they can read the electricity usage from a remote distance, and they can also shut off your power remotely. And the unfortunate thing is this is transmitting data at all times. Primarily, they transmit slowly or small streams throughout the day. Then they'll do a large data dump at night, often around 3 a.m. I've spoken to several people where then I can say, I bet you wake up about 3 a.m. every day and you don't know why. They're like, you're absolutely right. And that's one of the things that's happening is these smart meters are doing a data dump. And if you have a lot of these around you, then you'll feel it. If you drive around your community, if you have large apartment complexes, and if you just take a look, you'll see large banks of these meters in like a little walkway between apartments. And in many cases, there's a lot more than just the 6 that you see on these. There'll be a bank of 10 or 12 of them, and I guarantee you the person who's living across that hallway where their bedroom is, they're not well.
And they pass after a certain amount of time. They get covered in cancer everywhere.
And they don't understand why. They don't understand what happened to them. They don't understand why they're just exhausted and not feeling well. With that, we'll move on.
So what is EHS or EMF sensitivity? Electromagnetic hypersensitivity is an individual's symptomatic sensitivity to magnetic and electrical frequencies, including microwave and radio frequencies. More common as our world becomes inundated with cell phone towers, wireless internet, cell phones, and electronics in general. Technological environments are putting pressure on human biology and producing radiation pollution that is causing noticeable and significant health issues. These issues are particularly dramatic in individuals who have EHS and have sensitivity to this radiation and are more likely to have noticeable and dramatic symptoms from it. So for example, we'll go back and answer all those questions. So this is our dog, Katie, or was our dog Katie. She passed away. All my dogs would go and sit in the corner in our manufactured home because they couldn't take the electricity. They couldn't take the walking around on the ground because the wiring is not that great in here. And then to the right, you'll see 2 brains. Okay. So this is can you guys see the cursor where I'm moving it?
They're not.
Oh, Okay, go to that one. So to the right, you'll see a normal dog's brain, and in the center, that's the hypothalamus, where the little lines are. Point to the little lines. Okay, so those little lines, that's the hypothalamus. Okay, that's a normal dog brain. Then to the left, that's Katie's brain. That swelling is the hypothalamus. Okay, that's the hypothalamus. And then it became so severe, that little dark spot you see, what's the little dark spot right here? It's right here. A little dark spot, it became bacteria and then an infection. And it became so severe that they said that they couldn't save her because the hydrocephalus turned into water on the brain from the hypothalamus, which is extremely unusual. It's extremely unusual. And they said if they had normally to relieve that, they would poke a hole in the tissue and through the brain, and the fluid would leave, right? Does that make sense, ladies? So they said that if they poked a hole, it was so severe that her brain would ooze out through that hole. It wouldn't just be the tissue. And then there's more to that I'll talk about. Rob, go ahead and explain what you wiring. Okay. Go ahead.
Okay, some of the health effects that you might find from EMF sensitivity is fatigue. It seems like you have a full rest, the fatigue it persists through the day. You just wake up dog tired, and you just can't. That tiredness just doesn't go away. So a lot of people have trouble sleeping. Think about it is people's bedrooms have become a hotbed for EMF radiation. They put their cell phones next to the bed on. Metal spring mattresses act as antennas. We have Wi-Fi throughout our homes, and smart meters. They, like I said, they perform a data dump about 3 a.m. and it's not uncommon to have that smart meter pointing to a bedroom or next to a bedroom. Tinnitus. This is something that I experience. It's ringing in the ears. And it's gotten worse over the last few years, actually, probably because I work around this stuff so much. Brain fog, cognitive decline, memories declining, or you have trouble recalling names,
Places
concentrating. There's a dramatic rise in Alzheimer's, and a lot of that is the EMF that we're exposed to. And because everything is wireless these days, we have everything that's just transmitting through the air. One comparison that I make about wireless right now is, 20 years ago, the wireless radiation amongst us, I compared it to like a little stream in the mountains. And now it's an ocean, and it's getting more and more. There's so much RF around us every day that it's just, if you could see it physically, it would be shocking to you to see how much there is right now.
We'll go on to the next screen. I'm going to explain all this.
Wow.
Yeah, skin reactions. Some people get irritations, rashes, face and upper arms, but it can be anywhere in the body. That's another problem.
So I'm going to go back up to the top and talk about fatigue. Now, fatigue, trouble sleeping, tinnitus, brain fog, heart palpitations, and skin reactions. So I'm a sensitive. I call myself a sensitive. So some people say, oh yeah, well, you're empathic or whatever it is. For someone like me and other people, if you have any kind of heavy metals in your system, you have any kind of amalgam fillings, it's I want to say crazy, but it is very, very detrimental to the body. The fatigue, I'm sitting here, we live in a manufactured home that's older. And so the wiring is older. And so I'm feeling it all the time. Trouble sleeping, I don't sleep with anything next to my head. I unplug anything on the wall. If the mattress has springs in it, and it's next to anything, I try not to sleep in it. It's very, very severe for me. And I don't experience the tinnitus, but the brain fog is really high. And then also people are wondering why they have chest pains and palpitations. it's really the EMFs. Is this one the same screen as the hospital, or are you going to talk about that? Oh, okay. So, and then the skin reactions, there's something called radiation poisoning. And I actually was going to put that on here. And radiation poisoning will show up as spots going on the right leg where the liver is located, because it doesn't allow the liver to clean very well with the electromagnetic frequency that you're surrounded with at all times. And so you'll get these spots on your leg, and that's radiation poisoning or radiation sickness. And like Rob said, it would talk, you could have tingling and rush in the body. You think there's something wrong, when in actuality, you were just being bombarded and not realizing it. You're like, oh, I'm getting older. You can get older, but the thing is it might not be that, not just getting older. Go ahead. Okay, so you're, when you don't know until you know, that's exactly what I experienced with. To the left, you'll see me. That's me. I used to round up cattle when I was working for the Navajo Nation. That's me on horseback rounding up the cows. That the horse's name was Scrotum, and because because they had, uh, uh, I don't know how to say this gracefully. They had castrated him because he was trying to mate with everything. But that's the horse that I would ride. I'd get up at 4:30 in the morning, and we would round up cattle every day, round them up, make them go places. And I had amalgam fillings from England from when I was the same ones when I was 14. And I didn't understand why I was feeling weird, but it was in my mouth and I was feeling strange. So I had them removed. This is one of the holistic dentists in California. And she removed all of my fillings in one go, 6 of them. And you're not supposed to do that. I was sick. I was so sick. I didn't even, because they may put an oxygen thing in your mouth to pull out while they're removing the fillings, but you get poisoned. Heavy metal toxicity I'm surprised that I lived. Seriously, I was so sick she removed all the fillings, and that was the hardest thing that I'd ever done. Did you want to say anything? Oh yeah.
Yes. So on the screen, we have a name here of a gentleman named Marcus Rothgratz. Some of you may know who he is. He has products. He's a raw food proponent, and he does a lot of videos on YouTube. One of his videos that we came across one day, he's talking about how sometimes he has trouble concentrating, like, he can't get his ideas out, because he's a guy that basically has his own studio. He has all these computers around him and all of this electronic equipment. And in this video, he says sometimes he has to go to this restaurant that's dark and doesn't have a whole lot going on because he can't concentrate. With the EMF, he's getting bombarded himself and he doesn't realize it. With all the lights, with all the computers and everything else he has in there, it's affecting him and he doesn't realize that. And so that was, I think, when we first put together this presentation, we came across that, and it was just like a beacon. It's like, wow, people just don't realize.
Yeah, and what I put in place of my fillings was porcelain. So, and I had and then one of my teeth I had to pull. I mean, I had all 32 of my teeth, but she pulled it because it was the filling was, it was either that or they didn't want to do a root canal, because the stuff that you put in the root canal is also dangerous. So I didn't do that as well. Okay, there's a lady named Flores Freshman who is she draws cartoons. And I was explaining to her about what was going on with me, and she's also electrically sensitive. And I asked her to draw me a cartoon, and I wanted her to add these things. And so we'll go to the first one. It says, the HOA sauna budget is way too high. Yeah. What about groceries, gas? And this is in 2020, you guys. So this has been happening for a while. Gas, dental bills. And then Shirley to the rescue. I have a solution, girls. So she brings popcorn her husband's computer, her computer, and her son's computer. So they're sitting in the sauna. They turn on the computer. They put the popcorn in the center. And the popcorn gets popped by the computers, the RF radiation there. Do you see, ladies? That is, yeah.
So something I'd like to add to this is when I've done my RF safety awareness training for work, one of the things that they talk about is when you get RF exposure, you feel like it's just clicking you from the inside out. You just feel like your body just starts to overheat. And that's what it's doing, just like you're inside of a microwave. And that's some of the reference to the popcorn that we're looking at here. So, you know, this all the radiation, the RF, it's like we're in a mini microwave when we surround ourselves with all this stuff.
And here's the illustration. So the second one is another example. So the Gizmo Pain Clinic, cortisone shots here. And so the person I remember going to the doctor and I said, look, I just want a knee brace. I don't want, I don't need x-rays. You see my knee is in bad shape. I don't need an x-ray. The doctor says, oh no, we've got to do a shot. Well, I'm questioning them about the radiation. And he's like, oh no, he's sitting behind a lead wall. Oh no, this won't bother you at all. And then you go to the next picture. The next picture, the woman is holding down her husband. He's gonna float away. The lady, she has one eye, and then the guy has three arms. And they're saying that radiation will not do anything to you. But this is what we're exposed to every single day. Another thing that, well, let me go down to the bottom one. And then he says, oh, it won't affect anything. It won't affect anything else. And the person is driving the LED, the smart meters, the which is the risk of death. Just all this stuff completely surrounds this person. It's very, very serious. And so another thing that they're not paying attention to, oh, do you notice up here in the corner, right up there? Up there in the corner, you see the tower. They got them everywhere, right? These towers are not just meant to give us better phone service. And I'll talk about that here in a minute. Go ahead. Go ahead, Rob. You want to talk?
So these images that you see here are done with Carillion photography. Allison explained a little bit more about that, but on the left is an image of a cell phone on a table, and the Carillion photography is actually showing the EMFs and the radio waves that are coming around that. It's just surrounding it. So on the right, that is a person coming out of a building on their phone and whatever other Wi-Fi they may have in their body, and they're just inundated. It's like a bubble around them.
So the thing is that we're carrying these death traps around us. If you look at the box of the phone that you have, it will say that there's also a substance in there that this substance in this phone is meant to kill. It kills laboratory animals. So but we disregard it, and because we have a new phone and they're making everything touch screen, right underneath that touch screen is that substance. It's a
carcinogen.
A carcinogen. And so you're touching it every day, 5, 6, 7, 20 times a day to make your phone calls. Where do you think that stuff is going? It's going in your body, you guys. So, and they're wondering why cancer rate is up, and they're not understanding why. And, this is part of it. But
so here's some common sources of EMFs. Wi-Fi, everybody's got it in their house. Cell phone towers, you see more and more of them going up. And they're even doing better at hiding them. They're putting them on power poles. They're putting them on the side of buildings. They're hiding them to make them look like trees. You'll see a lot more even with the increased usage of 5G. They're hiding them in those even more, and there's more common of them because they need to be closer together. So you'll see more of those in larger urban areas. Power lines, transformers, substations, the breaker panels, they are all sources of EMF. They're in-home electronics and dirty electricity. Dirty electricity comes from all these new components you have, your TV, your stereos. See, they're too cheap to put filters on these. So what happens is these electronics backfeed harmful frequencies back into your electrical, and it's transmitting out of your receptacles. That's one of the things that dirty electricity is. It's cheap, it's pennies for them to put the filters in to block that, but they don't, because they don't have to. There's no reason for them to do that, because it's more money they have to spend, and most people don't understand or don't realize that it's there. Fluorescent lighting. Some people are super sensitive to fluorescent lighting, and we try to get it out of our homes. But this includes CFLs, the little curly Q lights. Allison calls them ice cream lights. Get those out of your house if you got them. Switch them to LEDs. Bluetooth. If you're using a Bluetooth headset, I recommend you stop, because that's constantly bombarding your brain. It's constantly transmitting. And of course, computers. Computers are a source of EMF. We use them every day. We're using them right now. It's a source. So just be aware of that. And then cell phones and tablets. I mean, everybody's carrying one. Kids are carrying them these days.
Which is sad. Don't change screens yet, which is really sad. So we're going to go back to the cell phone towers. The cell phone towers are not regulated, guys, ladies. Sorry. So that's why you'll see so many of them close together. What's the span about?
Well, it's a tighter span. I mean, it's whatever they can get in their coverage area, and the more towers they have, the better it performs.
Yeah, and so the towers are not just meant for 5G. Okay, they're not just remember that you're going to see towers where the poles are really close together. Those long elongated poles are really close together. They have more than one use. So it's not just for the phone, it's also for you. They're going to hone in on you, the top back of your head, where my antenna is here, the top back of your head. And so just so that you know, to go a little bit deeper in this, for an example, about a week ago, I went and I got a new driver's license. I went to go get a duplicate driver's license, and they said that my license was too old. And they said that I needed a new driver's license. I got my license, and my face was spread out all across the screen. And I go, why is my face spread out all across the screen? And she said, because it's for facial recognition. These towers are enabled to do facial recognitions to the point of where if they see you somewhere, they can stop your car. The car is electric cars, ladies. They can stop your car. They can stop your bank account. They can hone in on you. They can heat you up. They can do all of these things from that phone tower, because everyone is a target. Everyone has to do facial recognition. In the Constitution, it's not legal, but hey, they're going to have you do it. So when he's talking, is this the one with the emergency room? Okay. So the emergency, I had gotten in an accident, and they told me to go to the ER because I had hit my head and whatever. So I was sitting there, and I just felt so much worse. And Rob came in there, and he was like, Allison, he's looking around. Go ahead.
And there's so much RF in there. I mean, there's what I install, or my company installs in these hospitals, is called a distributed antenna system. I'm looking up, and I'm sure, hey, there's a DAS in here. There's antennas all over here. But in addition to that, all that equipment, the newer equipment, runs RF. Like, it communicates through radio frequencies or Bluetooth to a tablet that the doctor has, and it's just bombarding people around them.
And you feel worse. I felt worse. I felt better when I left the emergency room. My back stopped spasming so much. My headache went down, and I just couldn't take it. It was terrible. And Rob was like, oh, we got to get you out of here. I'm very sensitive to that. That's another reason why I'm not very good with computers, because I'm so sensitive to them. I have a limited amount of time I can spend on the computer. without it, bothering me.
So the big thing that we're hearing about these days is 5G. So what is it exactly? The 5G means it's the 5th generation of wireless technology. Not to be confused with 5 gigahertz Wi-Fi, which a lot of people do. That's just the frequency band that the Wi-Fi runs on. The 5G is just the newest technology. And it's got different spectrums, low, medium, and high. And the fast emerging thing that with 5G is called C-band and millimeter wave. These are just higher frequency bands that are more dangerous. And one of the many ways that they're just filling the airs with all this radio frequency. And it's not just in cellular communications, as we talked a little bit earlier about medical devices, smart cars, industrial automation. A prime example, my company just did some work over at a place that builds electric cars. And one of the ways that they're communicating with these cars and putting in the programming, I assume, is through wireless, through cellular wireless. That's how they're communicating with them. Now, the FCC, which is the Federal Communication Commission, they determine safe values, but the values are very conservative and outdated. They're from like the 1970s, 1980s, when there was very little RF compared to today, and they haven't updated them. And so the values they consider safe, they're too conservative because they did not have enough information to really understand it at the time that they made them.
Meanwhile, people are dropping like flies everywhere. The cancer rate is up 90%, not 75%, not 50% or 40%, 90%. And they're like, oh, it's just the UV radiation from the sun. You guys see my face change? That's not true. So, yeah, go ahead.
So EMF in the home and dirty electricity. In your home, you have a lot of electronics these days. And one of the things that they're adding to these homes are smart appliances. You can communicate with your refrigerator and it will tell you what your temperature of your ice cubes are. You can communicate with your stove, your thermostat. All these things, they're putting this Wi-Fi in so you can communicate remotely. Not me. I don't want nothing controlling my appliances remotely because that means someone else can control them too.
And so remember, their objective is to one of their objectives is to reduce the population by up to 50%. Now, when we look at a DNA strand, maybe someone can explain it better than me at the end of this call, but the DNA strand, the RF radiation is actually unscrewing it so that it looks like a ladder, your DNA strand, and then the ladder is coming apart. And that's happening all in everybody's body. Let me see if I can find the little article here. Go ahead.
We'll cut that at the end of the program. So power lines, you'll see that they're replacing a lot of these wood power poles to metal. Well, that metal power pole acts as an antenna. The wood poles, they insulate that electricity because it's a lot of voltage on those power lines and it radiates through the metal and it transmits out. The wood ones don't. It absorbs it, the metals transmit it. Big transformers. If you've got a big transformer next to your house, you're getting bombarded with the EMFs that it's putting off.
Move.
And smart meters we touched on earlier, but transmitting. And then your location. I mean, depending on where you're at, you might be in an apartment complex sitting right next to a substation. You're getting bombarded. You might have a tower in your backyard. You're getting bombarded. In some of these cases, I see these towers where they're not very tall and there's a 3 or 4 story apartment complex right next to it. And I just can't imagine what those people are feeling as they're sitting in their living room right now. And there's a tower 50 feet from them outside their window. It's just barely taller than their roof. So you got to protect yourself. Many ways that you can do that. Don't sleep with your phone next to you in the bedroom. Just take it out of your bedroom, put it on airplane mode, just get it away from you. Eliminate dirty electricity. There's filters you can get that will help get rid of that you can plug in. They look like just a little adapter you put in there and it just filters it. We have several filters that some of them I've made and some of them you can buy commercially. Get rid of your CFL bulbs, the little curly Q ice cream lights, just replace them and get yourself some LEDs. Either get rid or turn off your Wi-Fi. If you got to have Wi-Fi to use, turn it off when you're not using it. A lot of these will have a button on the phone that you can switch on and off pretty easy, or unplug it. And just try to keep your distance from electronics. I mean, if you have electronics that you use every day, don't have them next to where you are constantly. Give yourself some separation.
Get rid of Alexa, you guys.
Yeah.
We don't need Alexa.
On your smart meters, you can get covers for them. You can make covers, or you can opt out of the use of them. You can call the power company, and there's a good chance that you can opt out of the use of it. Cell phone cases, they make cell phone cases that actually will help shield some of the EMFs that are coming off of them. And then, of course, I talked about earlier, segregate the electronics to certain areas of your house. Keep some places electronics free. And I talked about other smart appliances. Stay away from smart appliances because that's just many more things that are transmitting constantly. And of course, know your environment. Identify where you're at. Where are all the towers, substations? Where are your power lines? You do not want to live underneath power lines. I mean, there'll be the little ones that are kind of running down the street. Can't really help that. But like the big high transmission ones that are going to a substation, don't live near those. So if you're getting ready to buy a house, look around what's around you.
So another thing, ladies, is that your cell phone isn't your cell phone. They are listening to you all the time. And then you think that your phone is not being listened to. It is all the time. And they've got the towers around to prove it. And so when you put your phone on airplane mode, it's not just that. Take your phone and put it out of the room. Get in it. You can actually open up your phone and have somebody put an external, undo the microphone and use an external microphone. So the apps, not all the apps work either. Someone just said something about the apps. But the thing is that you can have somebody open your phone and unplug the microphone and use an external one so that they can't hear your conversation because they're looking, even when your phone is off and on airplane mode, they are still recording you. They can still hear your conversation. And we're so smart, we put our phone right under at the table with our girlfriends having coffee, and your phone is sitting there off on airplane mode and they are hearing and seeing you. Oops. Okay, I shouldn't have done that. They're hearing and seeing you. So, and we think that there's a safety. It's not. Go ahead, Rob.
This image here are some smart covers that we made at our old place. This is actually what's called radiant barrier insulation. It has like an aluminum shield over it with a bubble inside. So we just, wrapped this thing around each other and then kind of made a cone at the end, and we put like a metal screen on the inside, like what you have on your window, but we use like aluminum, or you can use copper. And you just slide that over that. And what that does is it attenuates or reduces the signal down to where it's not hitting you so hard, but they can still operate. A prime example of this, the place we moved to now, we had put this on the meter when we first got here, and the power company accidentally turned off the power to our new place rather than our old place. Well, they couldn't turn it back on. So I went over there, pulled the cover off, and all of a sudden he was able to turn it back on. So it reduced it. So they still read it, but they could not turn it off. So that just shows you it just reduces that down to a level that it's easier for the person to have around them, but it still functions. So in the case where you have to have a smart meter, then you have this option. And there's commercial ones available that you can buy as well.
Okay,
So,
wait, I'm gonna go ahead and play this.
So hold on a second, Allison has something she wants to share. And then
I
we'll
didn't
open the
know.
floor up for questions.
Okay, I didn't know how to download this, lady, so I'm just gonna play it. No, they can't see it. All right.
making this dream reality.
Many of your medicines, we know from the COVID vaccine, very effective, very welcome.
Never mind Pfizer's CEO's little throat issue he has there. Pay attention to what he says next.
It's really a fulfillment of a dream that we had together with my leadership team when we started in 19. The first week we met in January of 19 in California and to set up the goals for the next 5 years. And one of them was by 2023, we will reduce the number of people in the world by 50%.
This is the yelling part.
Okay, sorry about that. All right, so he's saying that we're going to reduce the population by 50%, and we have to be aware, which I'm sure you ladies are, because the questions, the comments that you guys are making, it's like I'm behind the game because you guys are already there, which I'm so grateful that you're proactive. But these are things that I have to do to, keep myself safe. I have an old car. My car all our cars are like over 10 years old, 13 years old. They don't have all the new gadgets and all the stuff like that because I can't even get a rental car without the Wi-Fi Rob has to turn off the Wi-Fi. Bluetooth. So I have a room where the Wi-Fi won't reach. I spend a lot of time in there. If I have to turn on the computer, I try not to keep it on all day. And it's so hard to not get addicted to looking up things online. And so I have to practice. Self-preservation and just to make sure that I can take care of myself. Questions, ladies?
I have one, Allison.
Yeah.
First of all, I want to say thank you for sharing this information. My husband and I have been doing a lot of research, even way before now, watching and being mindful of what's going on as far as all of these conveniences, killer conveniences. So my question is, I have this device on my home. Is there anything I can do with this to protect like you all did I know it's a different device, but is there something that I could, Dr. Rob and Dr. Allison, can you help me with it? Help.
That's a gas meter, and it doesn't look like that. That looks like an analog meter on it, but I can't.
Yeah, your numbers isn't analog. That's better.
Yeah, but that right there, that's the thing right there. So they put these on the outside of our homes. Now, I know in other neighborhoods, I know they're not putting this on the front lawn. This is tacky. They put these on the front of the homes instead of the backs like they used to. Just tacky.
So I think that you can probably have that removed and opt out of that if that's just a neat thing that's going to read it. They should be able to come and read it manually, and you should be able to opt out of that. They might give you some grief about it, but I'm pretty sure you can opt out of that if you don't want it on there.
And just watching and listening to you, I know that you can say exactly what you mean and mean it 100%.
Right. Yeah, I don't know.
So the thing is that if that's on your if that's on your bedroom, it shouldn't be. Get it off.
It's at the front of the house on the bottom. It's at the base of the home where the basement window is. So it's underneath our window in the front, on the living room window.
Ask them what it is. And then tell us so that we will tell you what to do.
Okay, I'll do that. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
I know, right? Now, what are those hats made out of?
Aluminum.
Okay, because I was going to, okay, great. Thank you. I knew it wasn't what I thought it was. Okay.
We just wanted to let you know how, this is serious. I mean, they're like, what are you wearing on your head?
Yeah, protection. And I have a friend who makes, he makes the orgonite, which we wear. My family, we all have some where you wrap copper around quartz, and it helps repel the electronic whatever. Anyway, I'm done. I'm so
So
flabbergasted.
another
Thank you.
thing is when we're talking about organite, we're talking about shungite and all these things, you know, Mama Razia and all of us, the main thing that we have to do that when I was talking about a doctor, whatever her name is in California, is you gotta eat right. We have got to eat right because they're using meat glue, they're using things in our food to take us out, and we are not made for that. Our melanin goes to the cerebral cortex of our brain. It makes a difference. And so we've got to take we've got to take that extra step. And it's I'd like to say that I eat healthy all the time, but I don't. And I'm at a point where I'm kind of struggling because I've been exposed to so much EMF. We moved out here, there was nothing, and now we have 4 manufactured homes that are facing this way. And so, can you get that paint? I want to show them paint. Where? Okay. So there's a paint called Y Shield that you can use. You guys can also look it up online. Rob's getting it right now. But the Y Shield is a paint that actually reflects EMF. I'm also going to be putting up curtains. And I don't know if you guys can see this. And it is expensive. It's like $179.
What is it
So
called? Y Shield?
Y Shield.
Okay.
And it's an RF paint. And if you're going to do one room, the room where you sleep, or put something on the floor or whatever, but the room where you are the most, take your curtains and put some RF curtains so that you have peace where you sleep as well.
Allison, can you show it again? Put the paint can back up so I can take a photo.
You can find it on Amazon. I love that picture. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you so much. You say Amazon?
Yeah, you can get it on Amazon or go to Home Depot or something like that. But the thing is, you tell everybody that you know, because the thing is that I think that everyone has to have this, because this is another thing, ladies, that I need you to get. So the sun is the solar flares. The sun is, every few hundred years it bursts out, right? And right now it's in a cooling phase where the sun it'll be rotating, but it will not be putting out the heat that it normally does for us to have our good food or whatever. And it happens every few hundred years. And it's not exactly an ice age, but it's responsible for killing the dinosaurs. People went into famine, they died. This is what's happening right now. So there's going to be, for the next 10 years, it's going to be like this. For the next 10 years, things are going to change. And so we need to, like I was talking to Mama Razia, Mama Hethro, and you guys about, let's put things together so that we can plan how we're going to thrive, not survive, but thrive through this. Can I get an amen?
Amen.
Just shake your head.
Amen.
Okay.
Yes.
So let's see. Any other questions? Where are we? That hand thing. Okay.
I think my hand is up. 2 things. For Mama, who was asking about the shield and the different things and what we can do. I know here in Michigan, the electric company, gas company, were really upset. There are a lot of people who protested against the meters when they first came, and they just put them on your place. And then you had to go and say, I don't want this, and blah, blah, blah. And there was a fight, and they came up with the conclusion that they would charge us so much extra per month on our bill. I think it was something like $200-300.
Whoa.
But if you refused, if you didn't want it and you had them take it out and so forth, you had to pay this big extra fee to go back to the old way. The other thing I wanted to ask is, what about air conditioning? I know that some people have air conditioned units connected to the home, and then some people get central air. And what are we to know about that technology as it relates to our health?
For the most part, air conditioners are, if they're standard air conditioners, there's really not much there to worry about other than, it's an electronic device. So you're going to have something there. The thing to watch out for is the smart thermostats and anything wireless that they want to try to put in. You don't need to adjust your thermostat from 2 states away. That's what it comes down to. You don't need that. So stay away from any kind of smart thermostat or any programmable thermostat that uses like a wireless signal. If you really need to have a programmable thermostat, you can have one that's hardwired in to your internet so you can adjust it while you're away, but you don't want it transmitting. Nothing wireless when it comes to appliances.
Yeah, we hardwire everything in here.
Okay, thank you.
Star.
Mama, next, Star.
What is their reason for getting rid of 50% of the population?
I say probably because we are overpopulating. We're using up a lot of resources, and some people feel that there's just too many people here and it's not sustainable. I'm sure there's other theories that are out there. That's the one that comes to mind for me, is just we're using up the resources in this planet very quickly, and sustainability for long-term living for the elite or the chosen ones that they like to call themselves.
Yeah, and so the thing is also is that you got to think about it. We humans, we use up everything. We're like parasites. I know it doesn't sound right, but we have lost the old way of living. We used to take care of the land. We used to. We don't do that anymore. We just use, everything is disposable. People think that they're doing a justice when they take things to Goodwill. Over half of the clothing ends up in a landfill. 75% of what you take to Goodwill or a thrift store ends up in a landfill.
Yeah.
Everything is disposable, everything. And now they're saying we're disposable as well. And that brings me back to the meters. The meters are used, the meters that are close together, it's not just for 5G, it is so that they can kill you if they need to. And that's the honest truth. And so or if they can shut down your gas, they can shut down your electricity, they can shut down your car. Here in Arizona, you die without air conditioning. Today it's going to be 115 degrees. So you have to have air conditioning here, but they want to have control over everything. And if they can see you, they can do things to you. If they can see you through your phone, they can't see you through your phone, any phone. We were getting the old Blackberries, which I told you guys. Everything.
Okay, Allison.
Did I answer the question, ma'am?
Star.
Star, did I answer your question?
Oh, yes, thank you.
All right, darling.
Allison,
Yes, ma'am.
I have to take a little short break. All you who are listening in Facebook and YouTube, we are going to leave you. If you want to continue this conversation with us, you need to go to elizabethvisionaryconference.org and get your ticket to come in to the Zoom room. So thank you for joining us, and hopefully we'll see you tomorrow.